The apple, so readily available and highly consumed across the United States. Who knew that this fruit actually originated in Central Asia thousands of years ago? It wasn't until the Pilgrims settled in Massachusetts that the first apple tree was actually planted in the United States. Prior to that, the only variety here was the crabapple tree, which is actually not edible to humans. The average apple tree, after planted, takes 4 to 5 years before it can actually produce any fruit. Once it's ready to produce, it stands between 6 and 15 feet tall, depending on the variety. This apple that you see here starts as just a small white and pink flower, as all apples do in early spring. Throughout the spring and summer months, the flower blossoms and develops into the fruit that we see today. It is ready to be harvested by late autumn for production. When it's ready to be harvested, the average apple is between 2 3/4 and 3.5 inches round in diameter. Depending on the variety of apple would depend on the size and the coloring of the apple. And with nearly 7,500 varieties of apples, there's a lot to choose from. In the US, there's only about 2,500 of those varieties actually grown, with about 100 of those for commercial sale, meaning what we see in our supermarkets today. Some of the most common apples that we might see are Red Delicious, Honeycrisp, Golden Delicious, Fuji's, just to name a couple. With consumers eating roughly 16.9 pounds of fresh apples per capita every year, according to the U.S. Apple Association, it's no wonder that the U.S. produces around 235 million cartons of apples every year. The U.S. is one of the top producers next to China. That means we produce roughly 44,119,244 tons of apples every year for consumer use. This can range from fresh fruit, like you see here, to juice, applesauce, and baby products. This red, green, yellow, or sometimes even brown skinned fruit is much more complex than most people would ever think.